Coming up on your Delta News Morning, a local man receives a huge surprise, all because of a huge sacrifice he made. More from Cleveland coming up. Plus, more from the fallout, the Mueller report fallout. Some members of the special counsel team saying the results are inaccurate. We have the latest on that coming up. But first, we're going to get a check of our forecast with Karen. Good morning.
Good morning. We have a lot of activity going on our radar, anywhere from patchy fog in areas to the showers and thunderstorms. I'll have your full detail coming up as we go to the Delta News Fox edition right now.
News that works for you. This is the Delta News Morning.
Good morning and welcome to the Delta News on Fox. I'm Faith Alford and today is Friday, April 5th of 2019. Thank you all for joining us. Now getting to some of our top stories this morning. We begin with this, a breaking story. Just after midnight, Greenville police were called to the 1100 block of Lewis and found a Chevy Malibu that appeared to have left the roadway. A person was inside of the Chevy Malibu. That person was pronounced dead on the scene by the Washington County coroner. We'll continue to follow this story as an investigation is ongoing. Now to this, 7 men with ties to Greenville are jailed in a federal investigation into drugs and weapons trafficking. The suspect arrested yesterday was 44-year-old Jimmy Appleton and 38-year-old LaMarcus Martin, 41-year-old James Murray, also known as James Ludford, and 26-year-old Caritas Nelson, all of Greenville. Arrested previously, 37-year-old Carl Lawrence of Greenville and 35-year-old Jonathan Robinson of Greenville and 38-year-old Chadwick Wilson of Atlanta and formerly of Greenville. The Jackson field office of the FBI announced the latest arrest yesterday afternoon. The charges vary per individual and include felon in possession of a firearm, possession of cocaine with intent to distribute, possession of a firearm in relation to drug trafficking, possession of marijuana with intent to distribute. Judge Jane Verdon released Appleton, Murray, and Nelson on bond and ordered that Martin be held pending a detention hearing on April the 9th. Lawrence has been released on bond. Judge David Sanders ordered Robinson held pending trial. Wilson initially appeared in Atlanta and has been held on a pending identity and detention hearing scheduled for Monday in Atlanta. A federal grand jury recently indicted these defendants after an investigation by the Greenville Police Department, the 4th Circuit District Attorney's Office, U.S. Marshal Service, and the FBI Atlanta and Memphis divisions. Now to an update on a fire that broke out at OmniSource Industrial Park on Wednesday. Emergency crews report that being on a scene still battling the blaze starting early again on yesterday. Greenville Fire Chief Reuben Brown tells us the fire started around 2 p.m. Wednesday afternoon. Chief Brown confirms no one was injured while fighting the blaze. Fire marshals met with OmniSource's management team to put steps in place to improve the workspace safety. The Greenville Fire Department got a call Wednesday about a piece of equipment that caught on fire. The flames then spread to a pile of vehicles and plastics that stood at least 4 stories high. The business was reopened on yesterday. The Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality issuing an alert to avoid water from a portion of the Yalobusha River in Grenada. The advisory is issued for a part of the northwest portion of river to the I-55 bridge. The advisory is being issued due to 2 ongoing sewer bypasses just south of the Yalobusha River. The State Environmental Department recommends people avoid water contacts such as swimming, wading, and fishing. People should also avoid eating fish or eating anything else taken from these waters until further notice. The MDEQ staff will collect samples and monitor the water quality in the river and will take revisions to the advisory as necessary. Now to this, the Mississippi Department of Transportation reminds motorists to use extra caution around the highway construction zones. MDOT has designated the week of April 8th through 12th as a Work Zone Awareness Week. The agency has more than 3,000 employees across the state, and 75% of them are maintenance and construction staff who are working along the state's highways. Motorists are advised to obey signs in work zones, slow down, and watch for workers. Now to this. A veteran gifted with a mortgage-free home in exchange for his service to our country. The Delta News' Mara Scott has that story.
A bit overwhelmed. Hard to believe it's actually true.
Army Sergeant Nicholas Schultz is lost for words as he tries to explain how he feels after receiving his new home. Walmart, 7-Up Snapple, Wells Fargo, and Military Warrior Support Foundation honors one of the nation's combat wounded heroes, former U.S. Sergeant Nicholas Schultz. On Thursday evening, Schultz was presented with the ceremonial deed to his mortgage-free home located in Gulfport. The home was generously donated by Wells Fargo to Military Warrior Support Foundation's Home for Wounded Heroes program.
We give away homes to wounded heroes. Tonight will be our 858th home, about $230 million worth. And so we truly enjoy doing this and what we do. And we do it with a 1.5% overhead. And they tell us what we do. We saved over 100 lives, so we're very proud of that.
Schultz joined the U.S. Army in 2003. Within the same year, he was deployed to Iraq. 7 months after he arrived in his camp, he was hit by an IED and was awarded the Purple Heart. Despite being wounded, he went back to his unit to continue the fight and was redeployed 2 additional times in support of the global war on terror. His family was his motivation.
Motivation for something like that is the family you have over there. Leaving your brothers behind to pick up your slack is not something any one of us want to do, really. So you got to push through even through the most intense amounts of pain, and you got to keep going for them to bring them home.
In response to what he loves most about the home, he says the joy of seeing his kids wake up in their own home. In Cleveland, Mara Scott, the Delta News.
Schultz was also recognized at last night's Trace Adkins concert in Cleveland. Jackson State University brought its campus to Greenville. Yesterday, JSU recruiters and academic department reps were set up for the school's annual President Recruitment Tour. University President Dr. William Bynum spoke not only about JSU, but also about the importance of getting out and helping students go to college. A number of Delta area schools were present. The university recognized Delta students who have already received scholarships to attend Jackson State. Local alumni was also recognized at the event on yesterday. A health fair was held at a Leland school in hopes of keeping those living in the community healthy. The Deer Creek Promise Community Health and Resource Fair got underway at the Leland High School to give area residents and revenue for useful resources on financial and health literacy. Students got a hold of information about how to apply to colleges or join the Youth Council. Health screenings were also available.
Oh, it's very important to make sure that people are productive at work. If you're sick, you're off work a lot. To make sure that you're here for your children, here for your family. So it's good to make sure you're monitoring your numbers, making sure you're eating healthy in order to live a good quality of life.
Project manager Leslie Johnson says this was the first fair held at the high school and they plan on hosting them annually. Now to this, in national news, there is new backlash from the Mueller investigation, and it's coming from some of the members of the special counsel, alleging the results of the investigation are inaccurately being portrayed. Fox News' Catherine Hedridge has more.
The Justice Department issued a rare public statement taking issue with media accounts that the Mueller report contains summaries that were releasable. Quote, every page of the confidential report provided to Attorney General Barr on March 22, 2019 was marked may contain material protected under a law that protects confidential grand jury information and therefore could not be publicly released. The New York Times first reported some special counsel investigators told associates that their findings are far more negative than Barr's 4-page summary released last month. A senior Democrat said it backs up his efforts to see the full report and secure Mueller's testimony.
There's some dissatisfaction over how accurately Barr represented the report, but again, the answer is, let's see it.
On Twitter, the president knocked the story, writing the New York Times had no legitimate sources, which would be totally illegal concerning the Mueller report. In fact, they probably had no sources at all. Despite the president's tough talk about what he calls a witch hunt, one of the president's former attorneys told a podcast the president was nothing but cooperative in the Mueller investigation.
All this, what I call mainstream knee-jerk theories, these wild theories, he was really trying to get rid of Bob. That was nonsense.
Separately, these letters obtained by Fox News show Republican Senators Grassley and Graham alerted Barr last month that congressional investigators uncovered evidence of potential improper political influence, misconduct, and mismanagement in the Russia probes. Fox News understands the senators wanted Barr to have the information before he reviewed Mueller's findings, after congressional investigators alleged special counsel prosecutors used selective quotes in court filings to create the most negative interpretation possible. This 2017 letter shows Grassley directly warned Mueller, citing emails from Trump campaign aide George Papadopoulos, among others, about traveling to Russia during the presidential race. Quote, in the full context, the emails in question actually show that the Trump campaign wanted someone low-level to decline these types of invitations.
We will have more coming up on your Delta News on Fox after the break, but first we're going to check in at our weather center with Karen.
We have fog in the area. How long will it last? I'll have your detailed forecast coming up after the break.
Welcome back to your Delta News on Fox. We are currently taking a live look outside. We are facing west over Highway 82 toward the Mississippi River Bridge. As you can see, it is very foggy out there, so be careful when you are driving, but we'll get a check-in more on that with Karen. Good morning.
Good morning. As you can see, we are under a dense fog advisory, and that's going to expire by 10 a.m. today. And as you can see, it's a widespread area here. So you want to take it easy today and make sure you have those headlights on, because low beams preferably, because you do not want to spread that light form too far. Looking at our future tracker, these are some of our our measurements of rain that we've had so far, we've had anywhere from 1/100th of an inch, anywhere from 400 to an inch, and Greenwood had the 700ths of an inch of rain. Now, as we advance it further, it will go up later in the day. Now, looking at our bus stop forecast, for the most part, we have clouds, then sun. That's once the fog gets out of here, but not a whole lot of sun, so don't get too happy. So anyway, we have clouds to the sun till 61 degrees, and then partly cloudy skies by 3 p.m., 74 degrees. Our current weather around Greenwood, 59 degrees with that humidity going up to 96%, so we're almost at saturation point. That's why we have the fog. Calm winds, so nothing's stirring around. That's why we have the fog. In Greenville, 56 degrees, very low wind, 5 miles per hour, 97% humidity. And as we look at our future tracker and put it into motion, we have that low pressure system that moved through here yesterday. But what's going to happen now, just right over Greenville, that front is just going to be staggered right there. It's not going to go anywhere. And that's why we have the clouds, the fog, and the showers. We're going to be like this for the next 2 to 3 days. And then once we get past about Monday, that's when things will eventually get to improve. Our temperatures around the country, we have 51 in Portland, 51 in Seattle, 44 in Denver, and 34 in Niagara Falls. Our warm spot is Miami at 74. Today, our forecast, cloudy then sun, highs at 75 degrees, and we will have that patchy fog in areas. And winds out of the north at 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy, drizzle is possible. Low temperatures down to 60 degrees, east-northeast winds at 10 miles per hour. Mostly cloudy for tomorrow, 80 degrees, and again, chance of showers, and it will be breezy east out of the 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then looking at that 7-day forecast, again, Sunday and Monday are going to be the wettest of the days, and then by Tuesday, we should have the improvements in the upper 70s, low 80s.
Well, at least there is some sun coming out Tuesday, because I remember there was rain once upon a time on that Tuesday cloud. So that's why it's important about those daily updates. So we are excited about that.
Yes.
So just to see that, and everyone, you know, unfortunately the rain is here to stay for this weekend, but that's okay. Hopefully it won't be too bad. Hopefully. All right, the 2019 hurricane season is expected to be quieter than normal, with 13 named storms predicted, with just 2 becoming major hurricanes. That, according to